All right, Shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all the glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakak. Double honors to my apostles and elders of great ministry. Peace and safety to all the sincere Akim that's out here pushing this word of truth and all sincerity. All right. So I just want to do this quick lesson, another installment of white, um, white identity, extremists, aka white terrorism, white terrorist. All right. Because this devil, which is true biblical name, is Esau, the Edomites, Idumeans, is doing his best works of slandering us and creating this narrative that we are black identity extremists, which is the furthest thing from the truth. All right. But what is the closest thing to the truth is that you so-called white people, especially the leaders of your people, are all terrorists. All right. All you've done since you've gotten in the power seat is go around the world and bring terror on the people, starting with the nation of Israel, working its way on down to the so-called Africans, the Hamites, to Ishmael, the so-called Arabs, Elam, the so-called East Indians, Japhet, the so-called Polynesian islanders, all right, and everybody in between there. All right, all you've done is terrorize these people. All right. Matter of fact, let me get a scripture. I always forget that scripture. Where is that at? Bear me 1 second. All right, this is Proverbs 29:2. And it reads, "And when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourneth." All right. Another key point to show you that the wicked is ruling. All right. Because everybody on the planet Earth, around the planet Earth, is in a mourning. All right. This world is in a mourningful place, man. When you out here and you gauge the spirits of these people, you could tell that they're in a destroyed place. You know. That's why suicide is at an all-time high, depression is at an all-time high, all these things. All right. All right. So continuing on, I want to touch on this article dealing with one of the greatest white terrorists, aka red terrorist, aka devil terrorist there has ever been on the planet Earth, and that's Christopher Columbus. And especially dealing with today, you know, the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, they push out a heavy vibration of attacking this guy. As long as I've known his truth and following Great Millstone, they've dedicated this day. So just in following a tradition, all right, because Christopher Columbus was a major component in the downfall of us as a people. You know, he laid down the pavement, all right, for the New World Order. That's why he was set out to find a new world, all right? It wasn't new, it's been here. But they were finding a new place to establish their new world order, which was America, the Americas, all right? So you have this article on rapidcity.com or rapidcityjournal.com, and it's entitled Top 5 Atrocities Committed by Christopher Columbus, and this was dated September 26th of this year, 2018. So I'm going to read a little bit of this and get some scriptures and show you that these devils, you are the extremists, you're the terrorists, all right, and the true policing of the universe, Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to come back, all right, to read you your charges and put your ass down, man, all right? So it reads, "It's difficult to think of a more perverse hero than Christopher Columbus." All right. And if you don't know, or if you aren't experiencing this aspect of life, you know, I have a daughter in school. All right. And basically she's been out of school since Wednesday. So she's had Thursday, Friday, and of course the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and today, Monday. She's had a 5-day weekend. All right. So this devil, he's going to make it where you are going to give reverence to his heroes and to his gods, whether you like it or not, you know? All right. Now, it says, it is difficult to think of a more perverse hero than Christopher Columbus, the Spaniard who led Europe's first landing party in the Americas. From rape to pillage to flat out murder, Columbus and his men were the first Europeans to commit horrendous atrocities against the Americas' indigenous people. And those indigenous people are Israelites, man. All right. When you read the book of from the historian James Adair, he came over here several hundred years, I believe. Was it after Christopher Columbus? Don't quote me, but I know James Adair was a historian that came over here and lived amongst the so-called native tribes here. And he came to the conclusion that they were the lost tribes of Israel. Christopher Columbus knew that these were the lost tribes of Israel, according to the book of Ezra, Second Ezra 13. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get that. All right, because in the elders and the apostles, they always bring out the point that in the movie 1492, Christopher Columbus was reading out of the book of Ezra, and that's how he knew where to come. See, in this day and age of traveling and so on and so forth, you don't just make trips without having um, um, putting big money into trips unless you know where you're going or what's going to be there when you get there. You know, you don't mobilize because it costs a lot of money to mobilize. See, Christopher Columbus traveling over here took a lot of money and he was invested. So it goes to show you that his investors, people that put money behind him, gave him ships. When you go into the history of Christopher Columbus, you know, he was one of those people that worked his way up from, into owning a ship, getting money to get in other ships and so on and so forth. You know, the people that gave him money, they weren't blinded by the fact of what he was coming over here to do, the atrocities. All right. They were looking at whatever it takes to bring back riches for us. All right. Matter of fact, I know I was going to go to second Ezra, but I'm going to go to the scripture real quick. All right. This is Habakkuk 2, 2 and 5. And it says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. See, these devils, they weren't even home, but just to stick to the subject matter of this lesson, their home was in Europe. Okay. All right. They already had a home, but the scriptures say neither keepeth at home. So he decided with his companions of goons, all right, to sell across the country, sell across the oceans to find these new lands where these Israelites were, all right, to stick their foot up their ass and rape, rob, pillage, and murder. Okay, this scripture is a clear shower of who the so-called white man is, the wicked man. Okay, reading on, who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. All right, so I'm gonna get this other scripture right quick to show you the scripture that that Christopher Columbus quoted of Ezra to know that the lost tribes of Israel were found over here, which they weren't lost per se, as they call them. All right, but they just weren't in the land of Israel anymore. All right, so this is Second Ezra 13. Bear with me 1 second. This is Second Ezra 13 and 39. And it reads, and whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto himself, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land into the time of Hosea the king, whom Salamazar, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters. So came they into another land, and that land was the Americas. Okay, but they took this counsel amongst themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelleth, that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. All right. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passage of the river, for the Most High then shewed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. Because why? Prophecy needed to be fulfilled. It was prophecy that needed to be fulfilled that all the tribes will come over here to the land of the north, aka Babylon the Great. And that's where the great deliverance of Yahweh Shai will come in these times that we're in. All right, it was prophecy that had led them there. The same spirit prophetically led Christopher Columbus right behind him many centuries later. All right, actually, give or take, let's see, give or take 1,000+ years later, you know, because I believe that this period was around 400-500 BC, I believe. And then Christopher Columbus sailed the seas over into 1492. All right, so give or take the math, you do the math, that period in there. So many hundreds of years later, years later, Christopher Columbus followed them using the same scripture and was led by probably the same spirit to come over here and whoop their ass. Whoop our ass, I should say. All right. Because the 10 tribes or the tribes of the Northern Kingdom that came over here represents you Latinos, you Native Americans. All right. Okay. So Christopher Columbus was led over here by what they call St. Elmo's fire. Okay. Which was a chariot. Why? Why did a chariot lead them over here to do those things? Because it was prophecy. Okay. Now going back to the article, it says the following list describe a sample of reasons why Columbus was an awful person, with information drawn from Howard Zinn, a person's history of the a people's history of the United States. All right, so here's the first thing, in quote, we could subjugate them all. In his journal, Columbus didn't mince words about his intentions after meeting the Arawak natives in the Bahamas in 1492. He described the encounter thusly: they brought us parrots and balls of cotton and spears and many other things. They willingly traded everything they owned. They were well built with good bodies and handsome features. They did not bear arms and did not know them, for I shewed them a sword. They took it by the edge and cut themselves out of ignorance. They have no iron. Their spears are made out of cane. They would make fine servants with 50 men. We could subjugate them all and make them do whatsoever we could. So again, his desire is as hell. Okay, let me get another scripture. All right. See, this is terrorism. This is an extreme. This is an extremist. All right. This is an extremist that came over here. See, I'm gonna get the definition of a black identity terrorist to show you that you so-called white people are the true identity terrorists. All right. I know you don't like to hear it. I know, but it's the truth. Okay. Now, this is from an article on Teen Vogue, and it says, why the FBI's black identity extremist classification is dangerous. Now, this is how the FBI does it, okay? It says the FBI defines this group as individuals who seek wholly or in part through unlawful acts of force or violence in response to persuade racism and injustice in American society. And that's exactly what you devils did. You devils are the true black identity extremists because you're full of evil. And like a brother at camp, one of the head brothers in the camp said last Saturday, we're the true white people, man. We're the pure ones. All right? You're the black identity extremists. You came all the way over here to subjugate because you felt racism. Why? Because prior to 1492, the 1300s, you had what was beginning of the Renaissance period. And through the Renaissance period, you devils were coming out of an extreme racist period of time where you devils were pushed out of the earth. So this is your way of taking back your power. So you're the black identity extremist. Okay? Reading now, going back, let me find the scripture. All right. Give me 1 second. Bear with me 1 second. So like I'm looking for a scripture in my head, but I did a quick search. Bear with me 1 second. Bear with me 1 second. I'm still here. All right. Well, I can't find what the scripture I'm thinking of, but I'll find another one. Psalms. Let's see. I always get these scriptures confused. Excuse me again. Like I said, this is just, straight from the spirit. I'm not, this is some. That's just crazy. I always get these scriptures. Excuse me. Let me just do a quick search. All right, 55. I didn't go all the way down. Psalms 55. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Psalms 55 and 20. All right, it says, and he hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. Now, clearly, this article is showing you, all right, that the wicked, all right, the wicked is you Edomites. All right, you are the wicked. All right, you are the devil that the Bible speaks of. Okay, and it says, he hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. So he's clearly speaking that these Israelites that were in that area, those islands, were at peace with him. Never had a sword, didn't have prisoners, didn't have swords, didn't have weapons. And here it is, they at peace with him. They brought him gifts and things, and he's looking to bring the sword at him. Verse 21, he hath broken his covenants. All right, verse 21, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. And his words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords. All right, and this scripture got to be talking about Christopher Columbus's sick ass. All right, now going back to this article. Going back to the article. And it says, Columbus would add, as soon as I arrived in the Indies on the first island which I found, I took some of the natives by force in order that they might learn and might give me information on whatever there is in these parts. Terrorism, man. This is a terrorist. Again, Esau, show us a Hebrew Israelite that has done these atrocities to your people. All right? I'm gonna skip around on this. All right, let's go to cruelty. All right. And I might put this article in the description box if you're interested in reading more. I don't want to make this lesson too long. All right, it says cruelty. If captivity and death weren't enough, Columbus and his men had a particular reputation for cruelty, terrorism, to terrorize. Let's look up that word, terrorize. All right, terrorize. All right, terrorize, which comes from the word terror. All right, which a person that terrorizes or brings terror to people is a terrorist. All right. Terrorize is defined as create or maintain a state of extreme fear and distress in someone, filled with terror. Synonyms for this: persecute, victimize, torment, harass, intimidate, menace, threaten, bully, browbeat. Okay. So this is what you devils did. You're a bunch of fucking terrorists. All right. And Christopher Columbus was a terrorist. Okay. All right. So it says, um, Bartholomew de las Casas, a young priest who participated in the quest of Cuba, wrote a history of the Indies describing. And see, that's why you devils, you come against this truth, is because the Most High has always had some way, somehow, to expose you, man. All right. Jeremiah 49. All right. Make bare Esau. Second Thessalonians, the second chapter. All right. To, to reveal that mystery of iniquity, son of perdition, and to the return of Yahweh Shai. All right. With the brightness of his coming. I'm roughly paraphrasing. All right. You've tried to do your dirt in secret. All right. But the Most High is always present. And you hate that. All right. It says, wrote a history of the Indies describing the treatment of the natives. Endless testimonies prove the mild and the pacific um, temperament of the natives, but our work was to exacerbate, ravage, kill, mangle, and destroy. Small wonder then if they tried to kill one of us now and then. The admiral, it is true, was blinded as those who came after him, and he was so anxious to please the king that he committed an irreparable, irreparable crimes against the Indians. Las Casas described how Spaniards rode on the backs of natives, how the Spaniards, though nothing of knifing Indians by tens and twenties and cutting slices off them to test the sharpness of his blades. La Casa added, two of these so-called Christians met two Indian boys one day carrying a parrot. They took the parrot and for fun beheaded the boys. Terrorism, extremist. You devils are extremists, man. All right. So like I said, I'm gonna close this up. I just wanted to definitely touch on this devil and his history. All right. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom.